is Laura Zam, and this is Sexual Healing Central. Today, I am here with award-winning novelist and short story writer, Leslie Pietrzyk, and she's going to talk to us about writing prompts as a way to actually get into our soul. So stay tuned. Let's move on to some maybe advice or even maybe leading people in some process if they want to work with a writing prompt. So can you maybe just talk us through, let's say I wanted to either do this in a group or do this for myself. How shall I do it?
Oh, excellent. Well, first of all, you will be delighted to know it's so easy. So you can start a group really easily. You can start a group of 2 people. So if you have a friend who's interested, that is more than enough people for a group, or you can collect some people. I literally just put a listing on my neighborhood listserv for people who are interested in sort of exploring their creativity. And, people came and went for a little while until a solid core evolved, but it really was as easy as that. Or sometimes, I need to write prompts for myself. I can't wait a month. So I will do it myself. Also, I'll just write prompts by myself. I'll go to a coffee shop, or in the pandemic, I was sitting in my car in a parking lot writing to prompts. So whatever works for you. The best rule of writing prompts is to have no rules. So I say what works for you. But the idea is to, in the ideal world, write by hand. I know people may not be able to, but if you think you can, try that, write by hand. And then for me, what I would do when I was by myself, I would go into the coffee shop, get my coffee, and I try and just kind of observe a word that somebody said. And trust me, it doesn't have to be any amazing special word. It can just be a normal word. Here's your receipt. Oh, receipt. Okay, that's a word. And then I would sit down and write to receipt. And I'd
Should I set a timer?
Yeah, I would set 15 minutes. I mean, that's what works for me. At this point, I almost can tell when 15 minutes are up. And do 15 minutes. And then I would pause and see if another word sort of floated up, or just if there was a word in my mind. And then I'd write for another 15 minutes or so to that. And sometimes what I would do that if I had nothing to say. But often when I'm writing a prompt by myself, I will have a scene that I'm trying to work on in a story, or I'm trying to sort out a character. I'm trying to understand who Madison is, say. So I might think, I'm going to write about Madison today. Receipt. Oh, okay. Blah, 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 blah. And in my writing group, which is slightly more formal, I have a numbered list of, 12 words. And again, very ordinary words like anniversary, basement, microphone, lipstick. I mean, the world is filled with words. They can just be very normal. And so they're numbered. And we will pick 2 numbers at random. And then I'll say, number 8. Okay, anniversary. Then we write for 15 minutes. And then the second, number 3, microphone. Okay, microphone. And then we write. And again, you can share by reading out loud or not. You don't have to tell people if it's something true. You just do whatever you want. One woman writes poems. Anything you want to do. And I'd like to convey sort of how different things can be. One of my favorite times, for a while, someone would bring objects in. You could do that too if the words don't meet what you're looking for. And she brought in a piece of sandpaper. And somebody said in a sentence, his beard felt like sandpaper when I touched his face. That was the only appearance of sandpaper. I wrote all about how my father refinished our basement, and I remember him sanding things. So you just see nobody was wrong, nobody was right. You just do whatever keeps you writing and whatever keeps you interested. So that's sort of the general parameters of how it works for me.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, just keep writing in the same little notebook too is something I like to do. And I think you'll be surprised. It may take you may not get, oh, and if you don't like what you've written, that's okay. I really cannot repeat that enough. Don't stress out if you don't think it's good. You only wrote for half an hour. Like, come on. Like, what do you expect? Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just try it again. It takes us, it often takes us a while when new people come into the group to sort of get into that groove of how to relax, I would say, and just let go of that voice in your head saying, this isn't very interesting. This isn't good enough. You know, that voice has no place in prompt writing.
Yeah. And I mean, that can be an exercise in and of itself, right? To work, trying to just put that voice somewhere. Mm-hmm. So you said that when you're doing this, and if you're working on a scene or a story or something, that you might say, okay, well, let me see what's going on with Madison. But if people are not pursuing something literary in their lives, maybe it could be perhaps a situation or an emotion or something. Say, hey, okay, the word is microphone, but let me see if that fight with my brother, or right?
Well, then you just say my brother's voice is loud as a microphone, or my brother's voice is so loud he doesn't need a microphone. There's always a way. And honestly, again, there's literally no rules. So if you don't even use the word microphone, it's not like we will kick you out of the group. It's all good.
They won't kick you out of the coffee shop either.
No, you will be fine. You will be fine. You will be fine. I mean, I think a lot of people in the group who write about their real life and the times I've written about my real life, it's more typical, but again, not right or wrong, but it just feels that coming as a blank slate and then hearing the word microphone, that reminds you of that time in 7th grade when you had the crush on the boy in the AV club or whatever. Like, to be the blank slate brings things and then makes connections that maybe that had something to do with your relationship with your brother. So in a way, I think letting your subconscious guide a little bit is helpful, I have found. But again, if you come to write prompts and you want to write about that fight with your brother, then, do that.
Yeah, because I think, the brain is always connecting dots. And,
exactly.
And healing has the same etymology as wholeness, right? And wholeness is, right? We can think of that connection of dots as inherently healing or whole.
For sure. Yeah, I love how you've phrased that and thinking about that. And and it feels good when you see those things coming together, and it feels maybe a little empowering. Like there is some controlling purpose somewhere in my head working to understand all this. And maybe that's when I was saying writing saves me. That's how I process and understand. Maybe that's what I mean, that you could assign me right now a story about a microphone. I have nothing to say about microphones, and yet my brain would force me to find a way to write that story down. And that's one of the things, I mean, as I said, you can do prompts by yourself, but one of the powers of doing it with a group is that slight bit of pressure that if you're in person or if you're on Zoom, you look up, everybody else is writing, and you're like, I don't have anything to say about microphone. Geez Louise. Your brain will find something because of that pressure of seeing the other people working. On the other hand, those other people, they don't care what you write or not, so there really is no pressure, but your brain kind of tricks you a little bit and gets you moving. And I love that feeling. And then you learn to trust, oh, well, this is a weird word, but something will come up, and it does. And so you trust yourself. Yeah. I can't remember what the word was mobile. Like mobile phone was the word one of the words in our last meeting. And I said it out loud and everyone was like, ugh. And everybody wrote really amazing stuff that time. It's just, you just don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know, and I love it. We'll end it there, Leslie, because I want to end on this note of trusting oneself, since that just runs, at the core. I mean, it's in the core of being an artist in the world, but being a citizen in the world, and being a person, and finding health and happiness and wholeness. So thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about your writing process and prompts. And I'll have all the information, the links to purchase Leslie's book. It's just phenomenal. It really is a fantastic book. I just always love the way that you're so insightful with people, and there's just so much in there. So thank you again, and welcome to Sexual Healing Central. Thank you for being a guest here.
Thank you. It was really wonderful, Laura. You're doing such wonderful work. Thank you for inviting me to participate in it.